All right. We're rocking, we're rolling, we're live. As stated in yesterday's stream, we have this race and then Las Vegas. And those are really the last two real racetracks we're at. Obviously, we're at the Roval next week, Roval, Martinsville, Phoenix. I mean, we're down to the last two tracks that I personally enjoy building for. It has been a long time. It's been a really really long time since we've actually ran a real race. Anybody just watch Ramsey blow his hamstring out on that return? That wasn't a return. Dude, I love showdown and stuff. I do have to do two things. One, I finished the projections for Cup, but I haven't ran anything yet, so we can do that live. Secondly, I do want to check it and look at the NFL Showdown slate really fast, just because I haven't looked through it, and I'd like to do that before things get too crazy and stuff. But obviously, when we're looking at this, the schedule, I mean, we go to Kansas today. We were at Darlington. That Briscoe pretty much killed the field at Darlington, and then we have not been at a real racetrack since July 20th in Dover. Right, I am relying heavily on the where people have ran this year on 1.5 miles, but it's been a pretty significant time, so I would not be shocked to see step ups in certain people, but that's what we're going to be looking at primarily. Now, as I said, I do want to go ahead and look through this, and I guess we can do it. We can go ahead and do this together. These were my captains and stuff. I typically don't enjoy playing wide running backs as the captain, but in specific situations to where somebody's ruled out fairly late, I think you just have to take advantage of this. I've not looked through anything yet, so I do apologize if this seems boring and stuff, but I want to do this, and it'll allow people to go ahead and get in here. I just want to kind of look through with these. Thank God that wasn't a pick six, because I don't have a ton of the Steelers defense at all. But I don't think I'm mainly just kind of eyeballing their ownerships and stuff really fast. I'm not too concerned about it. I already know well above the fact I'm like 3x on literally everybody I have. The other one is what is Metcalf at? I haven't looked at DK Metcalf's ownership yet. Where are we at? Brother. Okay, so 41.7. That's not bad at all. That's mainly all I wanted to look at here, and that's where I'm at for the rest of the guys. But whatever. Okay, so when we're looking at the Cup Series, actually, first off, let's stop. Let's pause. Let's wait 10 seconds for station identification. Sheets and Bobby and I believe Rody will be live in an hour and 50 minutes to talk about the Week 4 slate. I'm not playing nearly anything for the main slate other than that 44444 ticket I have. That's the only thing I'm doing, and then I'm I always play the showdown stuff, but I actually have very little interest in the Week 4 stuff. I'm just gonna run what SaberSim and our projections tell me to run the 444. With that said, we have had a phenomenal season, not just myself, but everybody here so far. I mean, it's really, really hard to find a value at this point. I understand there's a lot of situations where you get, or different places where you get, a 1-day trial for $1 or something along those lines at a much lower entry fee. I fully understand that. Okay, I understand that we're priced at a much higher pricing than a lot of other sites. Okay, but our stuff is practically 3 sites through these memberships, the TrueDFS projections that you get regarding, including my projections for NASCAR. I mean, my projections for NASCAR are just, $40 in and of itself. Sheets' projections that he uses for any slate that he's playing, whether it's MMA, baseball, hockey, any projections that he uses, we upload to the site on top of Goldie projections that are our projections that we have for all of our, all the sports out there, and then James McCool and his sims and his tools, and it's really really hard to find a website that has this many tools available at one place. Also, the website's been updated. Hello, we've been talking about that. This thing runs like a fucking dream now. Very proud to have this website. I would highly encourage you guys to join us if you are looking for a place to play DFS at a not even play at a higher bankroll. But if you're spending a significant amount of money on DFS, I would highly encourage you to join our sites. And if you are interested in having your stuff staking or interested in having your entry fees backed and stuff, we do have a partnership with Stake Kings that is fully integrated on the site as well. Okay, anyway, back to the Cup Series. We're gonna get that out of the way. When we're looking at where these guys have been at for intermediate tracks, I'm gonna be here for about probably 30 minutes because I am actually interested. So I have not. I had tied for third in this race, right? Bristol, tire wear, whatever, right? Didn't do much. I didn't play very heavily at Worldwide Technology, nor did I do Darlington because I had not won anything at this point. But I'm actually fairly happy of my own 150 max at New Hampshire coming that close, and I was pretty satisfied with how everything went. The fact that we're at the first intermediate, I think I don't know if I'm going to do a full 150, but I will probably do at least 90 lineups today for this. Now, I really like intermediates outside of obviously the plate races. These are my best tracks to project for. So we'll kind of go through it and see what we're looking at there. But as we look at where people have been for these intermediate tracks this year, and let me go ahead and bring up this stream on the side so I can read chat and stuff. Give me a second here. Whoops, wrong thing there. Let's see. Here we are. I appreciate letting you guys here. Good morning. X to the power of X. He's talking about Larson and Zane. Good morning, Ross. Good morning, Phila. Good morning, Ryan. Let's see. Came in third. Let's see. Okay, so I am so first off, let's try and figure out where people are going to go. Obviously, we have a lot of Larson talk when we think of Kansas, okay? And this is not indicative of where the projections are or anything like that. We're just we're being aware of where people are going to think to go to, okay? When we think of Kansas, we think of 2311, okay? Kurt Busch, Tyler Reddick, Bubbles getting wins here, okay? We think of we got to ride the high line, okay? There's only like two guys who can ride the high line at these racetracks, which is factually inaccurate. But people think Reddick and Larson, and so on and so forth, and everything there. That's probably the. Actually, I haven't even looked at ownership yet, so we can actually probably go through that together and stuff. But I would envision that Larson is probably going to be popular. I would envision that Reddick is probably going to be popular as well. I want to really bring up the fact that Martin Truex Jr. had been really good, right? In this car, he retires, goes winless his last year, like really, really underperforms. Okay, not because he's been bad, but he was caught up in a lot of wrecks and a lot of situations to where he didn't really have a chance to do anything last year. But I would say, yet again, we started the year, whatever, right? I would say Chase Briscoe has absolutely been the exact same play as Truex, okay? He has been performing extremely well, okay? The fact that we have seen this type of increase from yet again, this is just how I rank guys based on green flag speed and where they have been. This is not where they finished nor driver rating. This is just where my stuff has them at. Briscoe has been showing improvement for every race he's been at this year, okay? Now, yet again, going back to, okay, I might run the top side here. Darlington, you run right by the wall. There's only one lane there. Las Vegas, you run right by the wall. Okay. I just went blank on any other track that we even race at. I just completely went blank at the moment. But it's it's not just Homestead by the wall. It's not just Darlington by the wall. Like you just run the top at 1.5s. Everybody does that who's fast. I need my water. Hold on. Big ass bottle, dude. Man, I got a cough. Hold on. Freaking dying over here. I think Briscoe is a phenomenal play today at 9,500, starting first. Great pit stall selection, which the I have not. It's not that I've moved away from pit selections and stuff, but I mean that's still integrated. But I've been playing. I've been trying to just play the better guys in general, and they typically have decent pit stalls. But starting first, every pit stall selection at $9,500. I like Briscoe a lot today. Okay, and now I have a lot of guys. I have a lot of these guys kind of projecting in the same range. There's not really a runaway. Obviously, I have Briscoe as my highest guy starting first. Everything I'm saying here, but I really don't have a lot of differences between Larson, Hamlin, and Reddick. They are clearly, if I have Briscoe as my highest guy. Hamlin, Larson, and Reddick are clearly, the secondary guys there. But I'm actually kind of under Larson compared to the probably what the industry is going to have. Now, granted, it's Larson at Kansas, right? But I really, really like playing Kyle Larson when he's not a favorite in terms of ownership. Okay. And he hasn't worked out in situations where he hasn't been that. Like, I've been playing a lot of Larson in tracks where he's not the favorite because we get Larson at half the ownership of what he should be at any given time. But I like Hamlin, I like Briscoe, and I actually like Reddick more. I really think Briscoe can compete and win this race today. Like I'm actually really uh considering him to kind of run away with this event. And like just his price tag opens up so many doors. Now I'm not saying you can't play them together, but I actually like Hamlin and Briscoe over Larson straight up today. Continuing on, because we haven't done this in a while. We've been away for a while. I mean, this is where Hamlin is at, right? At these tracks, the consistency that he's had. When you then look at where Larson has been, I mean, Larson has been underperforming at tracks where he should have been doing better at, especially at the start of the season that we had here. Okay, obviously ran into issues at Charlotte, but then just like this is pretty concerning. Now, I don't mind seeing, we typically see, DNF or whatever, spike here, whatever, but this is a speed that I'm concerned about, right? Like this is what's concerning about me with Larson because he should all these races, right? Darlington, Dover, Nashville, all these are races where he should be, even if he's not first and second, he should be, a top 7 guy here, which I guess he is with these two, but this is concerning, right? So I'm not enjoying the Larson stuff today. Obviously, Elliott, like nothing too crazy here. We're gonna go through all these guys and just kind of show people where they're at. Bell, like this is typically, down swings. This is what we should be seeing from Larson, not what we were seeing and stuff. Not yet again. I haven't ran. I haven't input the stuff yet, so we can kind of see in real time where my stuff is showing. Same thing with Bubba Wallace at 87. I kind of don't want to play Bubba today. Now, granted, Bubbles has been. I don't think I've ever actually done a fucking thing with Bubbles. Like, I don't hate the guy, right? Like, obviously, I don't. Like, I just keep the bit going, but like, I can never get Bubba Wallace correct. Ty Gibbs, we've been playing a lot of Ty Gibbs lately, which this was part of the start of the season where he was performing pretty bad. Like he was continuing those bad streaks. I mean, he's all the way down here at Las Vegas from last year. 74 doors much more open for me to consider. We're just kind of gonna speed through these guys here. Eric Jones has had really, really good speed as of late. Him and Nemechek, Legacy Motor Club has put in a lot of speed in these cars. I think those guys are both in play. So if you're asking, instead of asking some stupid question of, hey, am I going to play some idiot starting ninth and stuff? This is a situation to where like, hey, Eric Jones has had speed. I am more than happy to have exposure to Eric Jones today. I am more than happy to have exposure to John Hunter, Nemechek, right? Like these guys have shown more speed. And yet again, it kind of started at Darlington yet again, where we're in between a couple months here and stuff. But in between this, like Legacy has had a lot of speed, which they did not have at the start of the year. So that is very noteworthy and stuff. I don't think I think Byron is kind of unplayable at this point. I should have gotten off this way sooner. I'm just always tempted with the 11% ownership. But I have not seen the speed from Byron to even show that I should be wasting that much ownership with him like I had been through the last years, because usually he's in this range, right? And that's how you get the lead on a pit stop, or leaders run into traffic or something like that, and you're able to gain position on him. We just haven't had that from Byron, so I'm actually probably going to have very little Byron, and I only have him for 44.05 points today. We look at Reddick, 97, baked in place differential, from where he should finish. I mean, this is one of his best tracks, but him at 97, Briscoe at 95. I really like the combination of these two drivers together. I'm assuming I'm going to get a lot of that just based on kind of the eyeball test here. Barry, like, I'm not playing Gregson. I just don't want to play Gregson. I keep getting now. He did work out last week. But him and Intermediate, I just don't really have interest in. When we get to Busher, Keselowski and stuff, Busher and Keselowski are or should be top 15 contenders here. Which we look at Brad here, maybe slightly farther down, but typically they're both competing in this range here. That makes Keselowski a much better play over Busher for a $300 discount. Like Bowman, I've been playing a ton of Bowman. Yet again, he's too cheap at 78. I think he's worth getting to. And so, like, if I'm just building, like, especially if I was, going to draw a lineup together, I really like Briscoe, Reddick, Bowman, Keselowski together. Like those types of builds seem pretty good, and then you could probably most likely get a value, and then whatever ticket guy you want. Like, though, I'm really looking forward to this race. Probably not playing Ricky. Same thing with Priest. As I was saying with the other RFK guys, 6,900 for somebody who's going to be competing in this range. Like I would be very, very interested in that. Obviously McDowell. Hold on. Yeah, dude. Obviously McDowell. Actually, I'm talking AJ real fast. And Allmendinger has speed too, like 66, very much in play. I mean, I like Jones. I like AJ Allmendinger at 63, 66. I mean, these are like value. These are 6K plays that seem sketchy or whatever, but I'm very much a fan of where they've been at based on intermediate tracks this year. When we look at McDowell, got the pass through. Very likely, I believe him and SVG both have stop and goes. Let me make sure. Yeah, so we got to the rear and a stop and go for McDowell and SVG. I think they both go a lap down, and I don't think they get the lead back, or I don't think they get that lap back. So I would full fade McDowell and SVG today. Also, we're not seeing much speed from this guy in general, or that's really worth seeing anything. Haley Gillen gonna just if you need the things, whatever, right? Obviously we're not playing Shane. We were talking about Nemechek. Don't really think you need to do much with Cindric. If you get to him, you get to him. You're then debating: would you rather have place differential from 26th to 16th, and finish there, or potentially have somebody who is already in this range that could potentially finish 8th? Like that's really what you're doing with Cindric. Cindric's probably much safer than that. But those are the thoughts and prayers being sent Cindric's way today. If I can spell Custer right. Custer and whatever. Zane Smith, phenomenal speed. It's been a long time, yet again, since we've been at intermediate track. 5,500 for Zane Smith starting 28 seems like a great 5K play. Okay. Yet again, just by how I do stuff, I like relying a lot more on where people have been at in races versus where they are in practice and in the 2 practice groups. That has found me a lot of success. So we're not actually talking practice data at all today. I'm just going off of typically what I look at and what I found success looking at and stuff. Yet again, Kyle Busch 75. If you think he's going to hit value, you saw where he's at. Seems pretty good. We already talked about Brad and everything. So when we look at Riley, Riley and Ty Dillon, very, very similar plays. I don't know if you really need to do that. I'd rather just take the $5,500 Zane Smith if we're not paying up as much for Larson or like as much as probably other people are. You probably don't need to get to this range, and you could probably just stick with Zane Smith or the 6K guys we spoke about. We don't need to talk about where. When we look at Logano, right? So Penske's pretty slow, right? These guys are pretty damn bad. 92. We see where he's at Darlington. Yet again, when you're fast and you have clean air at Kansas, it's very easy to, get in a different lane and get up to the front. Being in this much dirty air in the back of the field, stuck in traffic, I think this is a very long day ahead for both of these Penske guys back here. I'm just gonna say, Frank, I have Logano for 43.4, and I have Blaney for 46.8. I'm yet again, we're gonna run my stuff live and maybe not the exact contest sims, but I want to go ahead and look at the higher projected lines that I have. I'm gonna guess that I'm not gonna play much of Logano and Blaney today due to their pricing and due to the struggles that I think that they're gonna have in this race. I This is not now Blaney's gonna look a lot better than this, but these aren't like DNFs, right? Typically, when I'm looking at my stuff of people who are front runners, and if you don't have a consistent thing, like, okay, what are those races looking at? It should either be indicated by a DNF or something. It should just not be bad speed. So Homestead, Darlington, Charlotte, like even this, like I'm not a big fan of this, right? That's concerning. Now, Blaney had been the best car this entire season up until bam, middle of the summer. We got away from intermediates. Teams had time to adjust, see where they were at, whatever. And we've seen a fall off from Blaney at intermediates, right? Now, yet again, this is just 2 races, okay, in Dover and Darlington, right? But he should have been much better at these races, okay? Even if teams are kind of jumping up, we shouldn't like, did the industry catch up to him? Okay, did they get past? Okay, now if we're just looking at this, the answer could be yes, possibly, maybe, right? But then you just see how bad he was in practice, right? Like this is bad speed. We're seeing much better speed from other people. I think other teams, maybe it won't be this bad, but I think Joe Gibbs, I think Hendrick, Legacy is actually probably contending for top 15s. RFK. I mean, I think any advantage that Penske really showed in the early part of the year has been caught up and potentially passed. Like, again, he blew a tire and stuff and got in the wall, like whatever. Um, but I'm probably not going to have much Ryan Blaney today because of these situations and stuff. What is this game looking like at this point? Are we getting completely kadoinked over here or not? Let's see what's going on here because I have not been watching this. So let's see. Gainwell, he got a touchdown. Wow. Steeler. Wow. 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 Okay. So that's pretty encouraging. I'm sorry, I went full uh I don't know. Uh I dude, I love Showdown, man. The Showdown just like God, it prints me money, man. Jesus Christ. The Showdown is like now that I have money to just throw at it, Showdown is like not even fair. Like I have such a high ROI on Showdown. It's crazy, man. All I do is go like I don't understand how people don't play Showdown. I'm like floored. This could potentially I don't even know how much I have entered. I know I didn't do where's my phone at, dude? I know I didn't do a full 150 today, but like being, having 112 entries for 2016 and winning 246 right now, entering the second, that's usually Very, very good on return on investment when we get to the third and fourth quarter. Okay, so let's go here. Yet again, Sheets has his projections up. I want to go ahead and take a gander at what his ownerships are. And yet again, these are all the tools and all the data. I mean, look right here, right? We have 3 data sets to look at here. Now, I don't do projections, okay? But you have 3 data sets to look at in terms of projections and 2 in terms of ownership, which I trust Sheets' ownership to the moon and back, right? And just for the sake of this, let me make sure that I'm pulling the stuff correctly, and we'll take a gander at these lineups. Now, I'm just doing this. Everything is lined up. Everything is pulling correctly. I just like to manually go ahead and copy my stuff. That's just what I do. I don't know, little quirk. So let's see kind of where the field is at. So what I want to specifically do is look at SaberSim and Sheets of stuff compared to mine. So what order of drivers do they have here? So obviously and yet again, they use a mean projection. So obviously Blaney and Logano will be there. That's not really, I'm not concerned about that. I'm more so looking at where Larson is falling at compared with Larson. I want to look at Larson, Briscoe, and Reddick. So SaberSim has Larson, Briscoe, and then Reddick pretty significantly down. Sheets has Larson, Briscoe, and Reddick, very similar. Obviously, in this range, I would have Briscoe, Larson, Reddick there. So seems like Reddick is not going to be played. It seems like we're on the wrong scoop. Let's go there. Ryan Blaney and Larson. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to get slaughtered if Blaney works today because I don't like the Blaney play at all today. Well, maybe I don't. Maybe I do. Who knows? Let's go ahead and run stuff and see what my highest projected lines are looking like to get a feel of where we're at here. So let's go ahead and look at the field here. Let's see. Larson 276, Chastain sleeper. That's on fading Brad. I like Blad. I like Brad today. Most times showing Blaney and Larson. Like I said, I'm not a fan of that direction today, but let's see. So let's go ahead and look at these. Let's go ahead and look at the top exposure while I look through here. So, at least for cash games, you're not going in without Blaney and Larson. I mean, yeah, but I don't play cash games, man. I don't know. I like Briscoe today. I like Hamlin today. I like Reddick today. I'm sure. Well, let's see where we're at. So, in my top 1,000 lineups, I got 42% Larson. That's right with the field. So I guess my opinion is like absolutely worthless. Because it seems that where I'm at with Reddick. Over the field on Reddick, which I figured. Well over the field on Briscoe, which is fine. I think honestly, well, let's see where I'm at with Logano. Under Blaney, well under. I basically went through everything. Now at this point, I don't really have much input. I think based on this last month, looking at stuff, I may have been significantly just really coming up short this year by only doing like 20 lineups in contests because um I've been pretty satisfied with what I'm seeing during the races in Truck and Xfinity, playing way more lineups. And as I said, I was even pretty satisfied with how Bristol and New Hampshire went. So I think at this point, I've said my piece. I've made my projections and stuff. I am probably just going to run this stuff in my lineups and just play whatever it ends up giving me. If it gives me 42% Larson, it gives me 42% Larson, right? Like whatever. My thoughts and opinions are already out and in the projections, so by default, it's gonna give me less Logano and less Blaney compared to the field. The stances of liking Briscoe, probably liking Reddick, and being under the field on Blaney and not Keselowski, Blaney and Logano. That feels like just enough of my own inputs to really not mess with anything else other than that. Like just kind of trust whatever I'm being given here. I think I am. Let me look really fast here because okay, so obviously we have football in 2.5 hours. Um, Kansas Drive is $20. That is expensive. I think where's my phone at again? Whoa! Hey yo 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 yo. Actually, hold on. Big rip. Not even big rip, but big. What is it? Um, Big rip. Big rest in peace to DK Live. Like, I still have it installed and stuff. Um, Big play alert. Aaron Rodgers passed a DK Metcalf. Is this legit? Sure seems that way, dog. Sure seems that way. Hawk Tua for real. Like I said, bro, do I even give a shit about how this race goes here? Let me go back. Let me go look. You just play the fuck. Oh man, expected 9%. I got 29 with them, 23, like what is this? So 23, 7, 14, 21. Well over the field on this. And do I even have him with Rogers? Yeah, no, I don't foresee really losing money on this slate with the amount of overweight I'm at on DK Metcalf. Let's see where we're at. What am I competing against here? So very close. He has Gainwell over. That was Gina Smith over Gainwell, and the kicker for Minnesota. So this is going to be a good sweat between those lineups. Dude, I love Showdown, man. Showdown allows me to really experiment with NASCAR and stuff. So anyway, going back. Actually, I wasn't even showing that. We are this is where we're at with DK Metcalf being then yet again, this is if you weren't here earlier. These were just these were the only captains I used for um the thing, whatever. Anyway, going back to NASCAR. Yeah, big rip to the DK Live app, man. That really sucks, and I don't think they're bringing it back. I'm pretty sure it's going to be actually taken down off of like notifications and stuff at the end of MLB season, from what I have heard. So big rip there. So I think I'm gonna do 80 lines today in the 20. I don't know yet. I really got to figure that out. But I think this exposure rate between my top 1,000 will probably be in line. Maybe not 75% Briscoe and that many, but this is probably what it's gonna look like in my stuff today. Like I'm just gonna trust my numbers and go ahead and build and stuff. Yeah, DK 80-yard touchdown. Hell yeah, dude. You're too skilled to not. Yeah, like I haven't had an intermediate. Honestly, that shit's like changed my life. Like the amount of freedom I now have, like to attack DFS. Like this has been a phenomenal month, and I'm I'm fucking super stoked to see where this stuff goes. So thank you, Philip. That is very kind. I'm gonna be fading Joey and Brad. I think Brad, just based on his pricing, is much more in play than probably other. I know we talked about that stuff. I know he's slow, but well, let's go ahead and where are we at here? I don't really want to look at lineups because I don't know what I'm going to be playing, what I'm not going to be playing. But let's go here and just kind of look through kind of what builds are like. So let's just say let's get an idea of what the field's doing, right? Field's doing this. Mainly just want to take a quick look and see what kind of salaries we're dealing with here. If they're paying up for 62. So you will be in this range quite a lot. I think I would prefer Kyle Busch at a slightly cheaper discount and even potentially a Cindric over Keselowski. But I don't think Keselowski's, based on his practice speed, makes him a bad play because, as stated, he has been fairly decent based on where he is starting and where with the speed he's had at these tracks and stuff. I think that's mainly it. I don't really have anything else left to say. I think we went through this pretty extensively. So I think that's mainly at top of the hour. As I said, Bobby and Sheets, and I believe Rody will be joining them as well for the week 4 main slate and stuff. Go ahead and wish me luck for this bad boy, this 4444. I'm not really nervous about it. I just don't really have the expectation of cashing. That's going to be really hard to do. A lot of people are going to be playing a lot of good lineups here. I'm going to play whatever Savers Sim and Sheets' numbers tell me to play, but I actually don't really have much faith in actually cashing in this thing. But we'll see. I haven't even looked at the slate yet. I have no clue who's even playing. I have no idea. The only thing I knew was the Dublin game. That's all I looked at. I haven't even looked at the main slate yet. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the breakdown, the talk, anything about this, consider joining us at TrueDFS in the link in the description below. Consider liking the video. And thank you for tuning in and just watching my stuff. I do appreciate it. See you guys later. Best of luck. Enjoy your Sunday.